So, it's no small thing, it's a big deal.
You have to imagine what it's like to want to come forward and report or tell somebody about what's happening to you in your home. Everything that you knew and everything that you loved will have to be given up the moment you report this to somebody. Everything, your family, your friends, where you grew up, all the people around you.
Women from communities that have this honour ethos are they're under a form of constant surveillance. It's the eyes of the community, it's the young men of the community that are looking for them, that are keeping an eye out for any behaviour that's untoward, and that they're feeding this back constantly into the family. And it's this kind of constant surveillance that women get used to.
The way they dress, the way they fashion their hair, the makeup they wear, the friends they keep, the social hours they keep, where they go out, who they spoke to, what was said. They do not have the freedoms which a white Anglo-Saxon woman would have. They have to conform to these cultural norms. If they don't, they fall out of favour. If you fall out of favour, you know what's going to happen to you as an Asian female. Men ain't going to go against the system. Why would they? They get fed, they get looked after, they get sexual intercourse when they want it. They got everything on the table for them.
I've certainly seen lots of young people who I thought would be really enlightened and really educated actually do hold these views. And I've tried to think about why that might be, and a lot of them are really confused. There's an identity crisis here. They feel they don't belong, and they think that they need to be traditional Pakistani or traditional Middle Eastern to give them an identity, and with that comes the customs that those areas used to have. One boy told me that he wanted me to realise what he was feeling, and he said, yeah, man is a piece of gold and woman is a piece of silk, and if you drop a piece of gold in mud, you can wipe it clean, but if you drop a piece of silk in mud, it's stained forever. And his perception of women was that they're tainted, they are forever tainted. They think that allowing girls their own choices is somehow diminishing the honour of the family.
After she left her husband, Banaz met Rahmat.
I think Banaz suddenly found a lot of freedom and a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure in meeting Rahmat.
Originally, theirs was just a friendship. They started to see each other and it developed into a full-blown relationship.
Rahmat, he's a lovely guy. They had planned to have kids, they had names, they had plans for everything, yep.
The police recovered dozens of texts between Banaz and Rahmat. She contacted him every morning and every night, just before bed.
After Banaz left her husband, she was worried that men were following her in the street, and she felt that they had been sent by her husband.
I recognised my face, and he hasn't come to my house ever, but I've seen him on occasions on weddings and that. And even now when I go out, I mean, one guy, as soon as I came out of the house, he was following me with a car. I heard someone calling my name in my language. So I turned around and he told me that he should give me a lift and I should go into his car. And I said no and just put my head down and keep walking. So that day he was just following me. People following me. Or still now they follow me. And that was the main reason that I came to the police station.
Okay.
That in the future or at any time, if anything happens to me, it's them.
If ever you're worried or afraid for your own safety, you must contact us straight away.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want you worrying, when we can get somebody out. Even if it turns out to be nothing, at least, for your own peace of mind.
Now that I'm giving this statement, what can you do for me?
You've given us lines of inquiry that we will need to follow up.
Okay.
Okay. But we will let you know of what's going on as it's happening, really, just so that you're kept informed and up to date as to what's going on. Okay.
By going to the police, Banaz was putting herself at great risk. But after her death, a police complaint inquiry found no evidence that the police had made any effort at all to trace her husband or to investigate her case. It took the police 3 months just to write up a statement. This was one of 5 occasions that Banaz went to the police.
People following me, or still now they follow me.
They missed all the signs that she was in great danger.
Anyone who's at risk, the first people they call is police. And she called them so many times. If they believed her, if they wanted to help her, she could be alive today.
Now that I'm giving this statement, what can you do for me?
In Banaz's case, there were almost a landslide of mistakes flowing from a lack of understanding and a lack of awareness, some poor policing, which we all recognize now.
She died without any help, and her voice has never been heard by anyone. This is unbearable, and it's not at all acceptable in the UK.
Turn this light off. I think it's had the electricity on.
Banaz and Rahmat kept their relationship secret. But in December 2005, they were spotted here, outside Morden Tube Station.
This little parade of shops, Banaz and Rahmat were seen kissing each other. It was outside the tube station, which is just down the road here. Very quick to put the phone call into the head of the family. Guess what I've seen your niece doing? And that was what triggered the whole thing. And following that, there was what I would term a council of war at the home of Ari Mahmoud, to which the men of the extended family were invited, and a decision was made there and then.
It was being orchestrated by the uncle, who was a stronger character than Banaz's father, and uncle in turn had said to the younger members of the community, what I want you to do is to kill Banaz.
Shame, embarrassment, or dishonour. Any of these 3 notions can lead to honour-based violence and can also lead to honour killings.
The thing about honour killings that makes them distinctive from other forms of violence against women is that they tend to have a very collaborative nature. They're a collective crime.
It's not your crime of passion, it's not something that you spontaneously thought you could do something about. We're talking about organised crime, men sitting around a table who decided that she must die. That's how conspiratorial it was, that's how deep it was.
These families are very large, they're very interdependent. It can be seen as a necessity to sacrifice one for the sake of all the other members of that family.
On New Year's Eve, Banaz was tricked into going to her grandmother's house in Wimbledon. Her father said to her, you are required to come to your grandmother's house.
He then got her to carry in a suitcase into the house.
He'd also brought some brandy, and he virtually forced his daughter to drink brandy, obviously in the hope of stupefying her.
He told her to sit on the sofa, look at the television, don't turn round, don't look at what I'm doing. And she did turn around and look at her father, and she caught him coming up on her wearing rubber gloves, training shoes. And she became aware in that instant that she was going to be killed. She knew that she was going to be killed.
He is touching her neck. He tried to grab her from the back, but she managed to run away from the door.
She managed to escape from the back of the house, and she plunged her hands through the next door neighbour's window to try and get attention. She climbed over a fence, staggered off up the road, bare feet, bleeding from her hands and wrists, and collapsed on the floor of a nearby cafe. Hospital staff that dealt with her on that night said they've never seen anyone so frightened in their life.
Ramat was contacted, and Ramat had the presence of mind, whilst Banaz was lying on a hospital trolley, to ask Banaz to tell him exactly what had happened, and at the same time he was recording on his mobile what she had to say.
در كالتشم في الدراسة وفينا أخذ نقابته بوي هنا عم بكيفك رجعوا بوي لك المو كيف كان قصو لشيكو بخوة وردة نيوي فردسان حمودات رابو وطاريق بو هر تلفزيون كاوك رابو نام سعودي دوبار شخش هاتو كالك رشي لبربون إيروبوك بس كشف الشين لا كشوا دا بروما داري ايش سيدانش خوتي او الشام دانش ما حتى اوتو جورا كيدي هدي بارا زاد هذا هم لبرقاكي اي دستف باك جاردن اللي ليش كيو ببطيرة خليت ردو بيدا حالات من تخواصيات.
There was a woman police officer who disbelieved her completely. And she said, I believed it was just a girl who'd drunk too much, thought she was going to be in trouble, and therefore was making up this story.